Hello and welcome to the Selfish Podcast. Today's guest is Alexandria Pace, who is a biological, holistic dental hygienist, which I'm really interested to know more about. And I found her actually on a Facebook group sharing what she does. So I'm just intrigued and interested. Can't wait to share her and her story. So, hi, Alexandra. Can you just share with myself and the audience, where in the world are you?
Hi, Luke. Thank you for having me today. I am currently in Idaho, America. And yeah, it's about 9:40 in the morning.
Nice. I don't know if you know, I'm in Spain in Europe and it's 5:30 in the evening for me. So it's nice. I love that we can connect with people around the world in an instant. Apologies if there's a bit of wind, a big gust has just come past. But yeah, it's amazing to connect with you in this time and in this moment. So thank you again for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you.
Now, with my guests, I like to get to know them as a person and their life and experiences. And I like to go back a little bit. So if you don't mind, can you share with me, like, what was your life like growing up? Where did you grow up? Paint me a picture of what life was like, say, pre 10 years old.
So I was born in Utah. I have one younger sister. She and I are really close. Growing up, was a little not great. Struggled with a lot of, parents fighting and, that kind of thing. I also grew up only attending Catholic school. And so there was some parts of my childhood that I just feel like made me who I am now, but in a positive way from the negative.
Oh, nice. And I think what happens to us in the children really does implement and change our lives. So it's nice to say that you've took a positive turn of use from that. So,
yeah.
So from that, like, what was your school life like? How did you enjoy? You said it's a Catholic school. Did you enjoy school? Did you enjoy the subjects, or not so much?
Not so much. It wasn't until college where I really started to enjoy school a little bit more and really embrace, learning as much as I can and just always trying to know more and learn more and, help spread that word more.
Nice. What do you think changed to give you that, say, from not being so interested to what kicked in later in life to make you sort of thirsty for that knowledge?
Really finding myself and, separating the views that, my parents and, the schools that I attended had kind of put on me or, said was a good thing versus a bad thing. And really being able to, find what interests me and find my passion. And that's really when I started, loving education more, when I found healthcare and found, different ways to help people.
Oh, nice. Was it straight into sort of dentistry work and the teeth? What was your first drive? What was your first passion that sparked at that point?
So originally it was, I became a CNA while finishing up my senior year of high school. And, I wanted to become a nurse, wanted to be a doctor, wanted to do all those things. So I studied health science in college and, minored in philosophy as well. After graduating, then decided, to look into dental hygiene. And once I moved out to Idaho, I attended schooling for dental hygiene and have been working ever since.
Oh, nice. And what got you into now? And you can maybe explain to me what the difference is in the audience. We said biological and I think holistic dental hygiene. How would you explain in the simplest form? What does that mean?
So biological dental hygiene just involves looking at, how the mouth is affecting the whole body. That's something that's really overlooked in, conventional dentistry. Biological dentistry actually was founded in the 1800s in Germany. They realized that there was a connection between, that illness is progressive and that illness is preventing the body from its own natural self-regulating abilities. And there are a couple international organizations that, can offer teaching and certificates and training on biological dental hygiene. Really, for dental hygiene specifically versus just dentistry, we're looking at what bacteria are in the mouth, and how those bacteria are affecting the disease state in your mouth and that connection to the whole body. So, a traditional dental office, you'll show up and you'll have a cleaning. The biological dental hygienists need to know what bacteria are in the mouth in order to properly treat you. If you have a really big overgrowth of bacteria, a cleaning that day may not be safe. That disease, in the form of bacteria, parasites, candida, all those things can be absorbed into our bloodstream during a cleaning, and that can, spread the disease throughout the body. So we try to look at that, making a safe oral environment before the cleaning, and then can help with the healing process of the cleaning.
Oh, nice. And yeah, what intrigued me so much about it when I saw your post is I work in holistic mental health, and that area is all about that. It's not just say a problem with the mental health. There's a whole picture to be had, and that comes down to so many things. So it's really intrigued me with the dentistry bit because it just made sense to me. As soon as I read it, I was like, oh, I haven't actually come across someone that's talking about it, but it makes sense. Like you say, if you've got bacteria in your mouth or bad breath, that it could be a problem with your digestion, your stomach, so many things. What
Absolutely.
you eat, not just clean it, it will come back. Or it might even cause an imbalance.
Yes. Yeah. It's just like putting a Band-Aid, it's not going to do too much.
Yeah. And what the practice that you actually work out, is the whole dentistry procedure, like, is it all based around that? It's all holistic, like even to the every detail?
Yes. So ideally in a biological dental office, the doctor will also be certified in biological dentistry. They'll be able to talk to you about, materials that you can put in your mouth that are safe for your body. They can do testing to know which materials. They'll give recommendations on procedures that conventional dentists say are safe, and give a more natural solution to try to help heal the mouth and and turn the whole body as well.
Yeah, nice. Because I've come across a lot of people say with like mercury fillings and things where it's highly toxic in the system and they need to have them removed. And there was I had one question that's just personal to me. When it comes to toothpaste, do you have a particular way? Because to be honest, most of the time I only brush my teeth with bicarbonate soda. I found that just keeps my mouth clean, fresh, no imbalances. I do have a non-fluoride natural toothpaste, but I tend not to use that too much, to be honest. Is there a certain thing you recommend in your office for a toothpaste?
So I don't recommend fluoride. I think that a safer, just as effective alternative is nanohydroxyapatite. That's an ingredient that can be added into toothpastes that will help to remineralize and strengthen the teeth in the same way that fluoride does, but in a non-toxic, safe way. And so there's a bunch of brands out there that already have it in their toothpaste. A lot of the natural toothpastes don't have this ingredient, and for certain people, depending on if you're a higher risk for cavities or if you have sensitivity, you may need to be adding that remineralizing agent in there. But the baking soda, that's great. That's a really good way to neutralize the mouth, prevent the good bacteria from meeting acid and becoming bad bacteria. So that's a great way to do that.
It tastes terrible.
Yeah, I bet.
It makes your teeth feel great, but when you're doing it, it's just,
yeah,
I really do not like the taste.
I don't blame you.
And how does it work with and there's a thing I've been researching recently, only this year, it's called orthotropics, which is about sort of mouth, I don't know if you've heard of it, about the alignment of your teeth and mouths. It's like a more, say, holistic approach to orthodontistry and moving the teeth. Where do you put yourself in that with terms of like braces and a more holistic approach to is there any, I don't know, like the metals they use? I had braces when I was a kid, but I have no idea what it was made of and what the glue was made of. It's not talked about,
Right. Yeah. Even working in a dental office, I would ask, the assistants or whoever, like, hey, what's in this? And they're like, oh, we don't know. And it's just kind of not thought of to be important in, the way dental schools are teaching, to go about these things and which products to use. I'm sorry. I had COVID a couple weeks ago, and so I'm having a little bit of COVID brain. Can you go over the question again?
Just the approach to, say, teeth alignment and like
yes.
the braces procedure, and is there alternatives?
Yes. So, it's something that's case by case. There is, a concern that the metal is, amalgamated, but at what percentage of each ingredient, it varies. But that metal is, leaching into your body and affecting your body that way. And so even some holistic hygienists, do weigh their risks and benefits and decide, a year of metal in my mouth, I can detox afterwards and be safe, versus, an amalgam filling that's in my mouth forever. It's kind of counterproductive to detox in that sense when you're not removing the source.
Yeah.
Biological dentists, one thing that I think the listeners should, take into consideration is not all dentists who, conventional or holistic, who offer mercury fillings do it safely. There's a protocol that needs to be followed, as, chelating prior to the removal, making sure, everyone's protected from the, hazardous vapors that come out from the mercury.
Yeah, I actually had two guests prior. It's actually quite a famous Australian comedian called Steve Hughes who I had on, and he was talking. He's got still got his mercury fillings in from when he was 5 years old, but he knows he doesn't want them. But he's not found someone to take them out.
Oh.
And it's like, where would someone even go to find the right person at?
So there are 2 international organizations that I'm aware of. There could be more, but these are some of the main ones. So the International Academy of Biological Dentistry and Medicine. And then the other one is the International Academy of Oral Toxicology and Medicine. So the IABDM or the IAOTM.
Okay, I have to Google.
On there, they should
put them in the description. Yeah. No, because it's a fascinating thing and can be quite overlooked, like you said, to go get your teeth, just go to a dentist and let them do what they do and sort of ignore what's actually happening. And it's aside from, say, smell, it's the second stage of our digestion. And even some supplements, some foods, they put them under your tongue because your mouth absorbs into your bloodstream so quickly without even getting into the intestines or into your gut. So I think how we treat the mouth is important. So how did this? So you went into the dentistry. How did you enter this world? Was there something that happened in your personal life, or you witnessed something? How did you find out about it?
So kind of going back to my childhood, I think just the trauma kind of stimulated an autoimmune response. And so at 8, I was diagnosed with Graves' disease, which is an autoimmune condition. And I've had low thyroid all my life. And in 2019, I didn't want to be taking a synthetic hormone replacement. I wanted to learn about natural ways to alternatives to that synthetic medication. So I switched to a functional medicine doctor, which is kind of holistic in a sense. And they did more testing than what traditional doctors are taught to do. And I found out I actually also have a couple other autoimmune conditions, Hashimoto's and a couple other things. And then I'm also celiac too, all of a sudden. So when I met with that doctor and was going over how to, change my lifestyle to accommodate for these autoimmune conditions that I was suffering from, she asked me what I do for work, and I was just a regular dental hygienist at the time. And she kind of gave me a look like, oh gosh, we're going to have a lot of work to do because of all the toxins that I'm exposed to at work on a daily basis. And that I had just graduated, and that kind of made me feel a little frustrated, like, oh my gosh, I just worked so hard for, this career I'm so passionate about, and it's hurting me. And I in the process of these diagnoses, made a really big switch in my life to, care about the food I was eating, what ingredients I was putting into my body. And it got to a point where I was like, this is kind of hypocritical. Like, I'm doing all this, but I'm not protecting myself in other ways. And what I'm doing is, in a sense, kind of harming people who come to a conventional, dentist office based on the education that I received while getting my dental hygiene certificate, biological dental hygiene certificate. So I went through the International Academy of Biological Dentistry and Medicine, and I graduated about a year ago. And so I've just been trying to get my foot in the door, spread some information, friends and family, and have thought a little bit about some sort of social media presence to spread education that way, and was feeling a little nervous about it. So that's why I posted in that Facebook group, just to kind of help me practice explaining, better alternatives or different ways to address certain situations as far as dentistry goes. So I'm excited to, keep practicing that way and make connections that way, like you.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I think it's perfect. Like I said, I think it is about spreading that awareness, because like for me, I know so much about different alternative things, but the dentistry bit's actually, I'd say, one of my more lacking areas, say, of information. And it's also hard to find anyone in that area that isn't, say, practicing it in a more safe way. And I think for a lot of people as well, it's a bit like when you're trying to break the sort of normal doctor patient scenario. You have your doctor or your dentist that your parents may have went to, or it's just your one. You just go to the one that you've been going to forever. You don't often change.
Right.
In the UK, it was different because, again, it was all covered under, say, the healthcare system. So there's not so much choice in terms of it. It was just you go to the one that's near to you, and that's it. And you're sort of told they're all the same. Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, but yeah, once you've gone to one, that's the same one I went to. That's the same one my brother went to, my dad went to. And to then look anywhere, it's not even sometimes an issue. Sometimes, like yourself, it takes something really in our own health to happen for us to suddenly think, right, I need something different here. I need to make a big change. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And like yourself, a lot of people, even me until, just recently, there's a lot of, lacking information between, medicine and dentistry, as far as not having a connection. We're not supporting each other in our fields to truly help our patients. I'm not sure the stats of, globally, but, America alone, 90% of Americans have some sort of dental infection. And a lot of the times, it doesn't cause pain. So you don't know. And a lot of people, see early warning signs like bleeding or, a little bit of tartar in between their teeth, and just think that that's like just what happens. And, it's no big deal, and it's in their mouth. It's not their whole body. There's no connection. There's no reason to really dig deep and heal the mouth and find how you're healing throughout your whole body as well. For example, gum disease, it's linked to diabetes, heart attacks, osteoporosis, arthritis, preterm pregnancy. The list goes on and on and on. It's just incredible what, these bacteria can do to your mouth, and then what it does to your whole body.
Yeah, like I said, it's that holistic thing that you can't have just your mouth saying having an issue and the rest of your blood and everything else not being affected, or vice versa. It's one thing that's all in synergy, all working. So no. How did you find the sort of transition? You said, like, telling your friends and telling your family, now you're coming online. Is it something you found people understand easily in your own circle or embrace?
It's hit or miss. I don't really have a large group of people that like to do the more natural way. So I try to just ease the information in slowly, and, just easy switches that they can do. I do have a coworker who she and I are really similar minded. And so it's great to, have someone to bounce ideas off of and learn from and teach. And so she kind of helped me get my foot in the door a little bit, just, encouraging me to keep learning about this and to keep talking about it. I do have some friends that, I have helped them make some switches that are a little bit more natural as far as, switching toothpaste, not using mouthwash, using a water pick, oil pulling, a lot more natural modalities to help the mouth regulate itself.
Yeah. Because I found the same when it comes to talking, say anything that's not that normal, say, the healthcare system, and you're trying to give a sort of alternative, like it's such an obstacle sometimes. Sorry, it's a fly buzzing around, such an obstacle. And but all you can do sometimes is you at least, the way I look at it now, and I struggled with at the beginning, was just like, all I can do is offer opportunity, but I can't expect anything in return. If they don't take it, that's fine with me. But at least I offered. I'd feel bad if I didn't at least say, gently offer something, not force anything on anyone. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And when it comes to, say, my thing, I changed my toothbrush to like a bamboo one with different bristles so that what I'm literally brushing my teeth with isn't as toxic. I found charcoal, just charcoal powder and brushing my teeth with that. That seemed to be one of the best whiteners that I've experienced. Really seems to make a difference. I don't do it too often. I don't know if that's something you use or you recommend, or there's a frequency, or if it can be too much or not. And the coconut pull-in sometimes as well.
Yeah. So the charcoal toothpaste, that's great to use, like you said, to whiten. It does, eliminate all the bacteria. It kind of neutralizes all of them, which, can be good. Only doing it temporarily. If you're doing it too much, you're going to throw off the oral microbiome of your mouth. And which, as it starts to come back, it could be an overgrowth of the bad one versus, the good one. So it's kind of hard to know how often it is safe with that one without kind of knowing, which bacteria are in your mouth to begin with. But, periodically, like once a month, it shouldn't do too much damage for you.
Yeah, I was going to say for me, it's like maybe once every 2 months, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not too often. Not every day.
Yeah. And then, the oil pulling, that's great. That's, really going to help get rid of all those, bad bacteria, the parasites, the fungus, the candida. It's going to help put your mouth into a healthier state before you brush your teeth. As you brush your teeth, you kind of open those blood vessels in your mucosa, your gum tissue. And, anything that's in your mouth, any bacteria can then be absorbed into those bloodstreams and go throughout your whole body. So that's a great way to start your home care routine with some oil pulling. There's some great recipes online where you can, add essential oils, and it is a little tedious. It does take about 15 to 20 minutes to go through that. I'm sure you're aware, but that's a great way to start the home care routine before brushing and flossing.
Yeah, and you may not have seen a lot of my content, but a lot of it say self-care and self-love on my personal channel, not just the podcast. It comes up in the podcast like it is now. But just even appreciating your teeth, because they do so much for you. Not only is it your presence that people see you, but that is what processes your food. Like, just to even give yourself 15 minutes to take care of your own teeth, I think such a short amount of time, and
absolutely.
And very valuable. Like my mum had really severe health issues, and by the time she was 50, she only had a couple of teeth left. Like she had severe mental illness, schizophrenia, and depression, and loads of things. But she was on so much medication for so many years that her blood had just become so toxic that the teeth just started just falling out. And then they gave her they're like push-in, like dentures.
With an implant?
No, but just ones that you temporarily put on.
Oh, okay. Yes.
She had this tube of like glue, and it was like she really struggled with it. It was such a mess. But I was scared to even read the label on the tube, for what that is that's going. There's already a sign of a real problem, and then I'm pretty sure that's not even assisting the problem at all.
Right. No, that's such a hard situation to be in. Um, I think, probably a lot of those medications, like you said, toxified her blood, but a lot of them too, they just dry your mouth out, which creates an environment for those bad bacteria to just thrive, and they love it. And that's when, there, could have been some, parasites there as well, which were just really eating that bone away. And so that's, a struggle that I have too with the medication aspect of, conventional medicine and how it affects our mouth and can cause, a whole cascade of, problems. The ingredients in that, I'm not sure as well, but I would assume, unfortunately, probably not the safest.
I imagine not that good. And what about like mouthwashes? Like I stopped using mouthwash. I don't know when, because I never liked the taste. It's too strong. And then I remember reading one thing about a certain brand, and they said originally the company made tile cleaners, and they just repurposed. They changed the logo and said like you can use this in your mouth now. But to me, it was like I just yeah, and I was just like, oh, I don't feel like I need a mouthwash. You clean your teeth and you just rinse out maybe a bit of water. But is a mouthwash a dangerous thing or a recommended thing, or there's ones you can make yourself?
So, a lot of the mouthwashes that you buy at the grocery store, those most likely are harming your mouth. They will take out the good bacteria as well and not replace it with a healthy one. There are some, essential oil mouth rinses, which are a little bit better and good to use, on a temporary basis, case by case. One big concern with the mouthwash is it will reduce the amount of nitric oxide that your body produces, which will, can lead to diabetes. And so there's this connection between, beets and the nitric oxide that beets produce and how that's great for, managing blood sugar. But, you rinse with your mouth and that reduces the nitric oxide. So it could be harming, your health in that way too, which is one example. As well as, a lot of them put alcohol in there, which will dry the tissue out and attract the bad bacteria to then start causing harm. A lot of the mouthwashes for bad breath, they're not really going to fix the problem, maybe just, temporarily for a couple of hours. But a lot of that bad bacteria is stemming from your gut and your gut health. And, so working with your doctor to, heal your gut, find out what issues are going on, because, even though you may not have stomach issues, that's a sign of, a poor gut health.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I have a couple of cats, and I'll tell you a little story about my cats because it gets back to one of them's teeth. Is one went missing for 1 year and 8 months, and we got him back because someone took him to a vet, and they'd been looking after him, but never took him to a vet. But he got really sick and he couldn't go toilet, and we ended up getting him back, and then we were looking after him, but he had like urinary infections, and we had to just treat that, fix him up, and I was just giving him a full inspection of his whole body, checking his bones, checking it just all over, and I checked his teeth. And because we've got his brother, so they were born at the same time. We've actually we got his 2 sisters and 2 brothers. But they're all born at the same time. So I was looking and comparing their teeth, and I took a picture of one who's been with us the whole time, and they eat like a really clean, high protein, no grains, like really good food, perfect white teeth, all pristine. I opened his, and he's got one's half a tooth. They're all yellow. He's missing a couple of little teeth. And it was just like, you could see he's been living on the streets and living a bit rough for a little while. And I think like we've still been, even now we're seeing little problems of little bit of blood in his gums, like the bacteria infection that was in his urine, I think still in his gut. So we've been working with that at the moment and giving him some mouth rinses and cleaning. Is there anything, have you work in any way or have with animals and their teeth?
I don't. I honestly, in hygiene school though, said that would be my dream job, to get to clean cat and dog's teeth. I'm as far as, are you asking like the process of animals dental cleaning?
Yeah, no, I was just combining the fact that mine, I noticed that it seemed to be from the bacterial infection in his gut that's causing his
Oh,
gums infection and in his teeth. And it's just addressing that underlying issue rather than, it just being just his teeth. It's like his whole body, you can see the chain and effects. And then I was just curious if he was interested in animals' teeth as well as, and their
oh yeah. Yeah, there's probably, not having that good diet that you guys have been feeding him, just depleted all his nutrients as well, which is, going to make the body's natural immune response harder to fight off, that bacterial infection that was, going on at the time. But yes, love animals, wish I could clean their teeth.
I bought like a little, it's like you put it on your finger and it's like a little glove for your finger with little bristles. And it's meant for brushing.
Oh, I thought you meant like in a clinical setting. But yes, those little toothbrushes are great.
I've
Yeah.
never, none of them will take to it. None of them will let me use it. And the dog won't let me come anywhere near him with it. I've tried to brush his teeth. It's not worked. But sometimes I just literally put coconut oil on my finger because they love the taste and rub it in their gums and put a little coconut oil in their mouth. And that they get.
That's a great idea.
But they love it. It's but that I think really sterilizes their mouth, and there's a little bit of tooth pulling for them as well, but they eat most of it.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. I love that idea.
Where are you now with your practice, and is it something people can come to you and use your services? Do you offer services online?
So right now I'm really kind of early on in this. I am not practicing right now. I'm in the process of moving. I'll be in Phoenix, Arizona in a couple of months, and looking to settle down there. So the International Academy of Biological Dentistry and Medicine, once I am working at a certified biological office, I'll be listed on the Academy's website for a registry with a location. I have been kind of toying with the idea of, offering some sort of online service or, just education in general. That currently isn't, established right now, but I am, on Facebook, Instagram, and, if anyone does have questions, I wouldn't mind answering and kind of help me take off this idea of having a platform or, a presence online to share this information.
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely an opportunity there for you and for other people. Like, say, if you're giving out free content, you put some videos and instructions and feedback to people. But I also think people would love one-to-one sort of coaching sessions for their natural alternative dentist hygiene procedures, because I had to slowly learn of so many things that you end up implementing. But it's something I would have took advantage of, if you could just go directly to someone who's got the knowledge and they can help you build your routine and keep an eye on your health or send you in the right direction for your in there.
Oh yeah. I think you just motivated me enough right there. So I'm going to get working on it.
Because that's what took me a long time. I put so much free content out and been working in the sort of holistic health for a long time, but I was working one-on-one in real life with people. So I would meet people and we'd go through stuff and we'd do practice. A lot of it was physical, actual stuff with their body, but it would also be their nutrition, their mind and thoughts and traumas. And like you said, the holistic approach to quite a lot takes in a lot of things. And then it was during COVID that I was like, right, I can't get so much one-on-one. It's like I need to figure out a new way to do this. But I also felt like there's so many people out there that could benefit from knowing a bit more or putting in certain tools that you can give online now in such an ease, just like this for a video. Or sometimes I'm doing calls now where it's just a phone call. You're not even doing a video call and you're just talking to the person through certain steps because they didn't know certain things they could implement, even if it's as simple as, like you said, the doing your charcoal teeth wash once a month, or changing your toothpaste, or I forgot the ingredient. Can you repeat the ingredient you said earlier? Because it was a long word and it's gone.
It is nanohydroxyapatite. The abbreviation of it will be lowercase n and then capital HA. Yeah,
and just things like that. Like I think people would really benefit from, and I think the support as well of having that someone that they can sort of connect with. So I think it would be a great service to offer online.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna get on that.
Was there anything that you wanted to talk? Because before we didn't have much of a talk before the podcast. Was there anything that you wanted to share that we haven't covered?
Just one. I kind of wanted to talk about, what a little bit more on what an appointment with a dental hygienist, biological dental hygienist would look like. Um, I mentioned briefly, testing the DNA of the bacteria in our mouth. So we'll start with looking under a microscope and then sending in a different sample to a lab that can, specifically say which bacteria are in your mouth and how much. They'll rate it on a scale of 1 to 4. 1 is great. 2, we're seeing a little bit. 3 and 4, we probably need to take some pretty aggressive measures. One way to do that is using ozone therapy to, eliminate all of that, using a non-cutting laser to really sterilize the gums. The light in the laser is awesome. It's able to penetrate, farther down than the instruments can go. And that's where a lot of the bacteria like to hide. And so after a cleaning, they'll come out a couple of weeks later and cause a lot of problems. So this light is great at, removing that piece that is sometimes missed in a regular cleaning. And then, helping patients, learn about how to maintain that healthy mouth after we have gotten there. So I love, going over education with my patients, making sure their technique on their brushing, their flossing, which ingredients they're using as far as toothpaste, if they are using a mouthwash, how long, why, what's in it type of thing. And, recommending products, like a hydro flosser or water flosser to, help them understand that the bacteria can be removed safely on a regular basis.
No, it's fascinating, and it just makes sense to me as well. And it was making me think then when you're saying about like going through their stages. I watched a reality show. I think it might be like earlier this year or last year, and there was a couple in it, and the guy had made his own toothpaste, and he was really happy to show. He's like, "Oh, it's bicarbonate soda. It's got this and it's got that." And then she just looked at him like, "He's crazy." And then she's like, "Oh, I'm using my regular toothbrush." She just didn't take to it, and he was so enthusiastic, but it just didn't get through. But I imagine the people that have already come to your office and are already there are already at that stage where they're open to like, they really want to listen and to take it. So it must be really exciting to be able to give them that sort of help and aid.
Absolutely. Yeah. I kind of struggled with that a little bit when I was working in a traditional dentist office, trying to, sense the patient's acceptability of learning about, different natural ways. And so I'd kind of gauge where they were at and offer information based on, how far along they were, or, didn't push it if they didn't want to hear anything. I'm a big advocate of not, like you said earlier, pushing anything on anyone, but, being there willingly to answer any questions whenever they're ready.
Yeah. I have one more question that's about sort of traditional dentists. Is I always remember the little cup the dentist would give me, and I imagine it's this universal, and it had some sort of like red water in it. And then they always give it to you when your mouth's numb and then you can't spit it out, and they say spit and you dribble it down your face. What was that? Do you know? Was that something?
I'm not sure. Was it before a cleaning or a filling?
Cool. I'm going back to when I was a kid. I feel like it was pretty much every time you went to the dentist, they would always get you to rinse out with this liquid after they've done anything in your mouth. But I remember getting, I think, a filling when I was a kid, and you definitely got it after that, because I remember having a really numb mouth. And like I said, they give you the cup and you just dribble it everywhere because your mouth's numb. But yeah, it was like a pinky red water.
I'm not too sure. The two possibilities that are coming to mind might be some sort of rinse after the cleaning, just to kind of help heal the gum tissue after the trauma kind of went through naturally from the cleaning. It could have also been, I'm not sure about practices in the UK, but a lot of dentists in the US will then give a liquid fluoride, prescription strength fluoride rinse to use at the end of a cleaning. But I'm not too sure about the red. That's the part that's throwing me off.
Yeah. Okay, maybe something different. And the other thing is with the normally get an injection to numb your gums. Is that something that your practice offers? Is there alternative sort of, not alternative, it's probably still an injection or a painkiller in some way, but is there different substances within that that are used?
There are a lot of anesthetics that are safe. You can do in a biological office, you can do testing to, make sure that, those ingredients are, not going to harm your body before, it's injected into you. There are some anesthetics that are less favorable than others, some that, prevent blood from clotting. That can cause some issues, but traditionally speaking, the anesthetic is, relatively safe.
Nice. Just to get not off dentistry, but back to you and your life. And you said you're just getting over COVID. So happy to hear that you're getting over it. And just how has the last 2 years been for you in your life? Because it's affected everyone. So I'm always curious to hear what someone has taken from what opportunity they've hopefully managed to find within the sort of trauma and chaos.
Right. I think, it kind of furthered my, passion for education and learning about more aspects of, just overall health. And, in the dental office, it was a little bit frustrating in the beginning. We had to wear all these different masks and all these different procedures. Patients couldn't come into the waiting room. They had to wait in their cars, and then we'd call them back. And, so it was pretty, we weren't allowed to use certain instruments, and it was, a struggle at work. And, it didn't last very long where I was at, luckily. We kind of, reverted back to, the ways we had been doing it before, and everything was safe and fine. But, I think the most part, going back to just, my life and how, the pandemic and everything has affected us is, going back to the passion for learning. I can't stop listening to podcasts, and it just helped me, get interested in so many more avenues of health, that I am super passionate about, and love finding the connection of, this, that, or the other to the mouth. And, looking forward to starting my internet presence to start sharing that information, because I can't remember where I heard the quote, but something along the lines of information is harmful if it's not shared. And that is one way that I want to help heal myself, is by not keeping things to myself, share this love, this information, this care that I have, about people's oral health and overall health, and, just the person in general.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, like, I started a YouTube channel before the podcast about two years ago, like at the beginning of the sort of pandemic, because I saw a lot of suicide and depression, and that's like things that touched me personally in my life and in my loved one's life. So I thought, I'm just gonna, because I'm not in that place, I'm just gonna share my story openly. What I found during the process was, like, it was like doing affirmations, but of my own sort of value, my own worth, as well as my own thoughts. Everything become clearer and more precise. And it's like you're following that train. So I found it just a really helpful tool. Even if no one ever saw it, it was helpful. The idea that someone could was great. And when they did, it was great. But it as its own almost practice of just talking to the camera about what you're passionate about, the information that you have inside, and how it can be of use or service, I found just like really empowering.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. Totally agree.
Well, we're getting near to the end of the show. It's been great to have you on here and to connect, and just I can hear the passion in your voice and the way you tell it. So I'm really excited to see where you grow, and let me know if you start a YouTube channel. I'll be sure to be one of your first subscribers and see how it goes and follow your journey. Are you on any other social media? Because I think we connected through Facebook, which is one of my least used, to be honest. I'm trying to.
Yes, me too.
I'm trying to learn it now. I stayed away from it all my life, and now I've got something to say and to share. I'm like, oh, where can I be everywhere? And everyone keeps directing me back to Facebook, so I'm trying to get on there more. But yeah, where can people find you?
Facebook, I don't really have it's just my personal Facebook. Alex Pace, my Instagram, I don't really do, I'll probably wait to do the Instagram until I have something set up just because that's like my personal one. But yeah, if anyone has questions, Facebook's great. We can also put my email in the show notes, and if patients have or anyone has questions, send me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Yeah, no, great. I have just a few very short, quick, fun questions I ask every guest at the end of the show. Do you have time for them?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you had to choose one, a cat or a dog?
I have both. I have a cat and 2 dogs, but I think I'm going to say cat.
What's your favorite color?
I have 2, green and black.
What sound or noise do you love?
I love the sound of my dog snoring, like their deep breathing when they're just super comfortable in my arms, and my husband's voice saying he loves me.
Oh, nice. It's the first time someone said that, so that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
And what sound or noise do you not love so much?
That's a good one. Probably fingernails on a chalkboard.
What do you love about yourself?
I love the passion I have around health and healing, and I feel I'm, very generous in offering help, and on any aspect of life. If someone asks me for help, I do my best to drop whatever and be there.
Nice. What do you love to see in other people?
I love to see passion, towards, just life in general. Seeing, people smile and feel proud of themselves for what they're accomplishing and what they're contributing.
Nice. And the last question is, what do you love about animals?
I love just their innate ability to, sense when we're, happy, sad, whatever. My cat, she's a little sassy. She doesn't like to be held, or, only likes to be pet for, a couple of minutes or whatever. But just if I've had a bad day, or, I'm upset about something, she just knows. And that's when she decides to snuggle and come up to me. And that's something that, I wish was a more human aspect, just knowing and just being there, not having to say or do anything, just sensing, someone's upset, and, just offering to be there, and a calming, happy presence that can, help things turn around.
Yeah, no, cats and dogs, all animals, they do such wonders to us. Like you said, without words, it's so powerful. And same with, because I've got basically I rescued a mother cat. She got pregnant and she had a load of kittens, and we ended up keeping them all. So they're all like 3 years old now, but it's a whole cat family. So there's a mother and her four children.
That's so cute.
But they all have such different behavior. Like from the very beginning, they all develop different personalities, even though they grew up the same environment, same food, totally different personalities. But the boy, the one that we're missing, loves a cuddle. Sometimes you put him down and he jumps back on you like he doesn't want to get down. And then like one of the girls, you pick her up and you can't hold her for more than 5 seconds. Like me and Danielle often play a game like counting. It's like, go on, see if you can hold her for more than 5 seconds. And it's like impossible. And she's not angry. She just does not want to cuddle.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Come a certain time at night or something and you might get a cuddle. But like you said, and I've noticed definitely if you're feeling down or if you're poorly or something, that the animals all come close. Like they know, like you said, they give you that nurture.
Oh yeah. It's awesome. It's the best.
Hey, Alexandra, it's been beautiful to hear your story and connect with you, and look forward to seeing your journey and everything develop. And yeah, really love what you're doing and the space that you're working in. It's really appreciated, and yeah, great to hear someone with such passion towards health.
Thank you. Yes, I've loved listening to your past episodes on your podcast, and hearing your passion as well, and seeing what positivity you're spreading. And glad we got to connect and have this chat.
Oh, thank you. Well, have a beautiful day. I'm gonna
You as well.
I'm gonna end the podcast here, but I just want to speak to you for one moment. But I'm gonna say bye to the audience and thanks for listening. And all your descriptions and links, I'll put them in the description of the video in the show notes.
Awesome. Sounds great.
All right, goodbye, audience. I'm just gonna stop recording.